NFTs. Yo, what's up, Banter fam? As we can see, yesterday we were speaking about these two lines. Unfortunately, Bitcoin broke the McDonald's line again, and now we gotta sit. I cannot shave my beard again, and now we gotta sit and wait to see when are we finally going to break this main downwards trend. Now we knew that the two options could have played out. We knew that either way, we can't lie about trend lines anymore. That when we get to the end of a wedge, we do start making, it does give us a hint of direction change. And it's nice to at least understand that by identifying when a trend's getting to a sort of make or break area, either line we break is giving us an indication of what direction we are moving at. Now, where are we looking at now? Now, we're not surprised, guys. I personally, we've all been wanting break that downwards trend, please. But we knew at some point, it could also break the downwards trend. And we knew that, we could come test the lower zones of where we were at these zones over here. We were there, 2-3 weeks ago, or actually a few days ago. And it is possible that we can come test those zones. Obviously, we want to know that, do we still hold that 33K? Do we still hold the 30,000 level? And what will this obviously still mean for the remainder of the year? So guys, on the show, I'm going to be going through the levels that we can be looking at on the sort of downward side. We did have the news on Facebook, which I think took a little bit of a hit on the market as well. I'll be going through the stock markets for you guys as well as the altcoins to see, that dominance is sort of sitting flat, not really making much decision just yet, which is good. But if Bitcoin does come and test the 30K levels, where are the alts going to be looking? And what are the main signals that we can then see that these are the downwards levels we can get to, and what can be the indication that we start breaking out of this downwards trend? So guys, let's just jump in here. So guys, I think let's get into it. Let's get started. Let's get moving.
Click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tells us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click. Enter the sniper. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam, what's up? I know the market is boring, and I know it keeps playing games with us, but I'm tired of this negativity. I'm tired of feeling and feeling like down the whole time, guys. I think us together, we need to pick up the momentum again. We need to get feeling good again. I think Bitcoin's maybe reading our feelings. So guys, get the positivity back up. We need to get this movement back. I'm tired of this sadness. I don't know if you all noticed that Rand also looked a little bit sad yesterday. It feels like the whole studio, everyone's feeling a little bit sad. And it's, guys, it's understandable. I think everyone's at that point now, like, when are we finally going to, get through these times? But I need you guys to stay dedicated. I need you guys to stay part of this thing. Remember, those who are patient in the market will soon be rewarded. So anyone that is new to the channel, join the best community out there. We are here through all of it. We are through the bad times. We are through the good times. And I will say this many times, the dumps are so worth the pumps, and you will soon understand that one day, that these times do happen, but damn, those big green days are so worth it. I promise you, they are so worth it, and they can change your life crazy amounts in a very short amount of time. They're just waiting for you to sell your coins. And then once you sell your coins, then they're going to pump the market. That's how it works. Remember, they all watch you through that camera over there. And that's how they like to shake you out of the market, guys. So make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're following us on all our social medias. Follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram. Make sure you're following our TikToks. By the way, guys, if I jump on here quick, we are going to be doing some NFT giveaways on TikToks. We just got the TikToks off and going, and we want to get this nice and boosted. So look to go follow our TikToks. When we get to 5,000 followers on TikTok, I will be giving away 2 NFTs. They are called, I'll have a look, they are worth $300. I'll be giving those away for you guys as well. Make sure you are on our fantastic website where you get tons and tons and tons of free information. Remember, everything we do is free for you guys. But here you get so many amazing articles. You get the charts of the day. You get every little thing for free. And this is going to teach you a lot, guys. You know, all you can do right now is dollars are not there to be made. Get over it. That's all we can do right now. There's no dollars to be making in the market, but education is here every single damn day. So please use all these tools, jump in, go share some love, and keep learning. There's tons and tons and tons of information out there. Remember, guys, anyone that is getting quite active in that, into trading, into investing, into these sort of things, remember CoinPanel is a massive tool that I use. This tool is a way for me to keep in touch with you guys, to communicate with you guys. We do have fantastic watch lists, one's for investors, one's for traders as well. So make sure you do know which ones you are looking at. And that's there to help you guys with stop losses, help you guys with areas. Anytime that we are not there, remember, I'm only there 30 minutes a day, guys. You know, the other 23 hours, 23 and a half hours, I'm not there. So you need to have the tools that are there for you so that we can always communicate with you guys and be there. And remember what I just said, I'm only there for like 3% of your day, which means end of the day, your decisions, you making 97% of your decision. So you need to be learning with me, and you need to be understanding, and you need to stay dedicated to where we are right now. So let's jump in, guys. Let's actually have a look to see what happened. We broke the McDonald's line. So now what does this mean, and where can we sort of been going? So what we wanted, guys, is, you know, we had this long downwards trend, and this has now become the trend. We know now this is the downtrend, and that's the damn line. The day we break that line, the day we close above that line is going to be the indication when we finally slow down on this downwards trend, and we're going to have the bulls now try reclaim and then try, you know, take sort of some position, and then we can sort of see where we make our way there. For now, we're continuing to break the downward sort of trends. So what we're looking at here is we did have this big drop to 33K. We then had a very big engulfing candle. So we had some good buying up volume. And now it looks like we want to come and make our way back down to those levels again. So we broke that trend. Now we know we're coming back to those levels. Now, if we jump into here, just jump over here. There we go. I have now marked the next sort of big support zones that we're looking at for Bitcoin. Now, even though we have made the lower high, if we at some point can make a higher low in this point, it will be a great indication for us. If we can make our way, you know, come down and test that 35,000 zone, bounce again, get some good volume and break trend, you know, that will be a great indication for us. Because remember what we always talk about, where when we're trending down in the markets, you know, we have the very clear lower high, lower low, and we trend. But as soon as we get to a point where we make, even though this was lower than that point over there, now for the first time we make a higher low in points, you know, and we then have a sort of trend that's sitting in place. Sorry, my drawing is terrible. There we go. And we can break that trend after that zone. You know, the fact that we got that higher low in play can indicate that we can now possibly go and change the, break the next higher high sort of point and start to get maybe possibly our first higher high. Now, this is the first option that I'm looking at that we can possibly play out, is where we make our way down here now. We come and we fill the gap over here. We fill the orders. Remember, this bounced very quickly. Now, when something bounces too quickly, you know, what we actually want when we get to a really important zone where we know that people are buying up, and this can possibly be a great bouncing zone, is when price comes down to an area and then it sort of hovers there for a while. And then we start to get the momentum to the upward side. That's great because that gives time for orders to be filled. But the problem is when something comes down very quick and bounces, you know, it's very likely at points that we can come down and fill that again. Think about it. Price came down there. There's a few orders that are sitting there. There's a buy wall sitting there. The order gets hit, we then shoot off. But, at time, because it was not there for a long period of time, the orders are not always filled. So it's very likely that we can come back down and test those again. When we come and test, fill the order in, very similar to what we did in these areas over here, where we come down very quickly, we then have a shoot off there, we then come back down, full order, shoot off, we then come back down, full order, and then only can we start to make our way up. And that's because they needed to fill all the orders that needed to be filled in that area. So that's the first option that I'm looking at, is where let's just get rid of that. There we go. Is where we can hopefully claim a higher low at this point, where we can be looking to bounce anywhere between 34 to 35. How do we know that the bounce, that is the bounce? Is obviously getting a bounce from there, shooting to this trend and actually breaking this trend, reclaiming back to the 40,000, 42,000 zone. That will give us the first indication, right? So even if we do bounce and we come and test trend, does not mean it's over. It can come test again at any single point. But this main trend line is our indication. It is our main key that we are waiting now. So now it's quite simple, right? Yesterday we had this little trend line at the bottom in play. Now we need no more bottom trend lines, no more support trend lines. All we need is this big daddy over here, which means we have many different support zones, areas that we can possibly bounce at the market. The only thing that's going to give us the indication on that bounce is this trend line. When we finally break that sort of momentum, the downwards trend, and that's the resistance trend line in that point. So that's the first option. Or we do make the lower low, meaning now, from here, we have another strong leg down. And now we're going to test the very important zone that we bounced so many times previously on the last dump from May. And that's this big area over here, which is sitting between the $28,500 to the $31,000 region. That's this big zone over here. We do know that there's a lot of interest. Reason being is we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times. And now we can be possibly hitting the 9th time to that zone. So every time we have gotten to these zones, one thing I did like about that is we're always getting really long wicks. So it means prices are coming out. There's really, really big buy walls that are sitting in this area over here. And if we don't hold the zone that we've just held now, which is the 33K zone, we can very much come back down and test the 28K 500 to the 31,000 zone as the next sort of support zone. And remember, this is going to be the trend that identifies for that if we bounce there and we finally break trend, then we know, okay, that could have been the actual temporary low on where we're looking at. Now, all that we're looking for is for the first signal of a higher low or a higher high. And for now, we've got to be patient. I'm not buying anymore. I'm not acting anymore. Only time I am buying again now is when this trend line is broken out. Now, I'm not selling either. I did have 1 or 2 little stops that were tightened up yesterday when I told you guys, tighten up a little bit on stop losses. 1 or 2 of them did get stopped out, and that was great, just to free up. I sort of have a rule, guys, that I always want to have 20% cash no matter what. And what that means is if I deploy cash and I'm 95% in the market, 20% of my money has to have stop losses. And that's just the reason of, if this market does tank off now, it does drop off, at least stop out 20% of my money. You know what I mean? So if it does go cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, I still have some capital then to deploy and to, load up on some more tokens than what I had previously. Remember, the only time I'm ever selling is if there's an opportunity to make more tokens. Otherwise, there was no point. Because if I sell, then I go away with the family for a weekend and I come back and, the markets are pumped 30%. I've just lost all of that because I just got out and I had no actual plan on how to return. So I think add that to your strategies, guys, is when we're getting to a point of getting to a wedge or we get into something like that, even if you're in a loss, even though the point, remember, the dollar, to make dollars right now, there's not much opportunities to make dollars now, especially in the market right now. But there is opportunities at times, to be making tokens and stuff. So it means that when we get to a nice little area of really big decision making, crunching up a little percentage of your portfolio with a stop loss is a great scenario because, my biggest thing, like people ask, we get into an area now, should I buy, should I sell? If ever I'm uncertain, I love going either 50-50 or going something because worst scenario, the market does tank. I get stopped out at 50, I can go buy with some capital and go load up more. Second worst scenario is I free up some cash, we pump through, we come and test, and I buy in again at the same levels on a confirmation buy. I don't lose anything. So it's a really nice way, you know, we get into a crunch time. Let me put some of my portfolio on a stop loss. So then when times like this happen and something drops like this, whatever, you're happy because you got a little bit of liquid, you got a little bit of flow that even though screw dollar values, screw what the main thing is you have a bit more capital now that if Bitcoin goes here now, there we go, I can go load up a little bit more. So just remember that, guys. Anytime you're in indecision and you're thinking, oh, should I, you know what I mean? Should I maybe free up some cash? You should have this, listen to yourself because your gut is trying to tell you something as well. My gut's a beautiful indicator. I love my gut. My gut always gives me that little thing at times. And all that I do is I just put a stop loss and a little bit of the cash. So either way it goes, I'm prepared and I'm able to capitalize. So quick recap. Hopefully we can get a higher low from Bitcoin, which is around the 33 to 34 zone. After that, we want to break trend and we want to reclaim the 40K level. That will be a good indication for us that we are finally slowing down on this downwards trend. And we're now going to look to have a retracement from this big wave. And then we can start to focus on when we get that push up. You know, should we free up a little bit? Not, you know, where are we looking much higher time frame? Then second option is we do now drop the lower low. We drop the lower low in the point and we do come to the 30K to the 29K area. I do know there's a ton of really, really big bar wall there. And same thing. We want to see a bounce. We want to see break out of trend. And then we know, okay, that was the temporary no for now. There is one more zone, but I'm not going to talk about it right now. I'll give a quick hint on it. I think only if there's something really bad that happens in the stock markets, which I'm going to go through shortly, because the stock markets aren't showing weakness at all right now, especially the US30 and the Dow. But I do have this scary zone over here, which I think needs to be a sort of black swan. It needs to be something really bad in the market to get a 20K Bitcoin. But it's there, and we will see as we go, you know, as we progress and see, you know, if we ever do get to those levels, I would think something like this first. You know, something, you know, this is a very, very long wave down. And I don't think, you know, that is the main. If we ever had to get to a 20K Bitcoin, I'd rather see something where a bounce off here, I go to 50K first, and then possibly look at those sort of levels. But for now, you know, I'm here every day. Let's get the first targets. Let's first see the first levels on where we're at, and then we can look to act upon on that next. Now, next thing I want to jump on here quick is the US30. Look at this. Is this showing any weakness right now? You know, we had that big drop off, but wow, stock market's looking strong as hell. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying the likelihood of a really low 20K Bitcoin, you know, I don't really see that unless this was, you know, breaking back down and we're looking at really, really strong weakness over there. Then I'd be like, okay. So for now, the main thing is there's not enough buying interest in Bitcoin in where it is right now. So it's got to go cheaper. You know, that's how the game actually works. Now, looking at that, looking at tech, this is one that's showing some sort of weakness now, is a US tech, because we did now break support. We then came down. We bounced on the support area over here. We then shot up now to this resistance over here. Some support, let's delete that, into resistance. And this is showing a little bit of weakness. So what I want to see from here is there was a trend that was taking us quite sharply downwards, which we are sort of breaking back in now. But if we can just reclaim a higher low at this point and then make our way back up to these sort of levels, will be a good sign for us. For now, it is showing a little bit of weakness. And that's probably why we are seeing, you know, a little bit of weakness in the crypto market as well. So I'm definitely going to be keeping eyes on that too. Now, let's jump in quickly to the Bitcoin dominance. You know, it is showing a little bit of green, but you see how it's not giving us any of these big green volume spikes anymore. Now, remember what I spoke to you about, guys, about yesterday, that even if the market does go against us now and Bitcoin starts to feel, you know, a little bit weak and it starts to pull down, do you see how dominance is not doing what it did previously, where we were getting these massive green spikes in that, which means still for me that Bitcoin's going to be the one that makes the higher low. Okay, the alts are going to be the ones that hold a lot better than what Bitcoin is. So if Bitcoin does start tanking now down, you know, for me, the damage was already done with the alts. And they may go test the lows where they were, but I don't think they're going to get much more destroyed than where they were previously. If not, you know, just come and test those levels again on where they actually were. So this is sort of a good indication for me still that we're not getting a really big shift in dominance again in Bitcoin's favor, which is a good sign. One thing I did want to look at is ETH dominance is showing good strength. It's broken out of a long sort of trend to the downward side. So it looks like ETH is one of the ones that are, you know, are reading well. Exactly. Stake, build your coins, build your coins, build your coins. There's no dollars to be made, so work on building the coins. Staking is a fantastic method now. It's also going to take your coins away from you, so you're not active, to touch them or to sell them at any point. So ETH dominance is looking good, as well as ETH to BTC, also showing a lot of strength. And then we got the USDT dominance, which is just showing that, we're getting a little push up here, but, the last time we were at these zones, it usually does sit here for a little while, very similar to what it did in May. So it makes sense that we can shoot again up to 5.2% anywhere in these zones. But at some point, this big wave here will end. And when this wave ends, we're going to get a big influx of USDT coming back into the market and buying back into the token. So we know at some point there is going to be, the only thing is Bitcoin's not cheap enough. That's what the institutions, or that's what the bigger guys are looking at right now. And that's why they're not stocking up crazy amounts and sending it yet. Remember what the whales do. They can't just buy big amounts now, because they buy big amounts now, they're going to send it all up and other big guys can sell into them. So they need to wait, buy. Now they've filled 90% of their bags. Now they can send a big green candle and start to get retail back into the market. So we can see here, it makes sense that USDT, rides in this little zone here for a while, but then there is going to be a big push of USDT back into the market. And that will then shoot back in. And that's when we can get a really strong bounce. Guys, I still think it doesn't matter where the levels are for Bitcoin, we're going to get a 5-10K candle again to the upward side. It's going to come at some point. It's done it many, many times. And then we know, okay, wow. And you don't want to be flushed out by then and sitting on the back end and missing that actual thing when it happens. Now, looking at the total, same thing. Total came down, tested trend, beautiful, breaking trend to the bottom side now. So it looks like total can come back down to around 1.5 to the 1.6 trillion mark again. So, meaning like another $100 billion now being sold off at these sort of levels. But this bounce so quick, it makes sense that we can come test here. Let's get that higher low in play, and then we can finally go chase the higher high at that point as well. So now let's jump in quickly and let's have a look at some of these alts and where we're looking at over here. So let's look at Ethereum as the first. So Ethereum's obviously holding a lot better than what Bitcoin is at this point. It is holding pretty good. Ethereum hasn't broken downwards trend yet. So we had Bitcoin break that bottom trend. Ethereum hasn't yet. So if Bitcoin does go test that 33, you can be looking at a 2.4 ETH. I'm still looking at this as a very good bounce zone for ETH in the region of 2.2 to 2.4. I think it's a good zone. And if Bitcoin really tanks to 28 or 20 something, then we do have, the 2,000, the 1,800, $2,000 for ETH. But ETH's holding up relatively well to the market right now, and especially to Bitcoin. So that's looking good. And we do have this main little trend here, which can indicate, ETH on its way to the $3,000 level. So being a bit patient with ETH there. Sand is holding trend. We spoke about Sand the other day. Sand broke out there. It is currently holding trend at the zone. So if we do get a nice little bounce from Bitcoin at any point now, and we get that higher low, guys, the higher low is still in play. We can't say we're going to get a lower low just yet. We can bounce in these zones of where we're at now. And if we do, the way to obviously indicate that, let's just jump in here, is if you jump into lower time frames with Bitcoin now, you can see very much, it's a nice little candle there, that we are forming this sort of downwards trend over here. So we break that downwards trend, will give us an indication, that Bitcoin's going to try reclaim and try go back to this main trend line, which is around 38K. But if we jump in here, there we go. You can see it with Sand as well. So if Bitcoin does get that nice little smooth bounce, I'm keeping an eye on Sand. It's holding up very well to the market, and it's looking good. Another one, look how good this is. Beautiful break, beautiful test. So Decentraland showing a lot of strength in a market that's looking really weak right now. It's one of the only ones that are green. So I'm very interested there. Looking at Chainlink, Chainlink short-term trading wise, I'm not interested, but Chainlink investment wise, it's entered the big zone again. Guys, catching Chainlink at $15 is absolutely ridiculous, in my opinion. I think it's an absolute bargain. And I think if you're looking at this for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years hold, I think this is an absolute bargain that you're looking at. I see Solana as well. Nice little push up, but it's come to test support. I think Solana anywhere around the $90 region, it's really good investment and higher time frame wise. And then what we do is we've got this main trend, that we can look at later points. It is showing that Solana can take, another month or two to only get a real strong breakout again. But, you know, investment-wise, you should be very interested in any areas that do come to these zones. It's this imbalance over here, and you're catching it so much off of the top. So it's looking good for me. I know I've gone through these quite a bit, guys. I just want to update you guys again. Cardano, it's not getting affected much. You know, it's not pumping, but it's not dumping either. You know what I mean? Cardano is at a really point where, like, it looks like investors, like, this is the spot. You know what I mean? This is the spot where people are just hovering and holding the price at all points. So Cardano investment-wise, you know, it's sitting in a zone that keeps getting bought up, and it just hovers in these zones and hovers there. DOT was showing a good amount of strength yesterday. So, you know, bounce from Bitcoin, I think DOT's going to, you know, it's sitting in the region now of $18. And I think anywhere between $17 and $18 is fantastic for DOT as well. We do have one more option that can take it up to $14. So always be aware of that. But I think DOT is still, guys, cheap. Cheap. That's all I can say. MATIC as well. Now, MATIC's one of the best ones that have held throughout this whole dump. You know, it's held really well. And what it's done is, you know, we get this sort of Bart Simpson pattern where we got the shoot up here, it falls down, it then makes a little eyebrow, and then it starts a little gradual growth to the sort of upward side. So if Bitcoin holds the level we're at now, and we do get a nice little bounce of the market, you know, MATIC's looking at a good one to recover quite quick. It's one I spoke about yesterday. Obviously, the market's turned a little bit, but, you know, MATIC is one that shows a lot of strength as soon as we start to get a last little bounce in the market. So MATIC is great. Looking at AVAX as well. AVAX holding pretty well, still in trend. You know, it hasn't broken that trend just yet. So it's looking really good. If Bitcoin does come and test 33, you know, we can look at AVAX coming between $50 to $60 again. Investment-wise, I think you should be screaming. You know what I mean? I think it looks really, really good because we know the next push can take us to the trend line. And obviously, if we break through that and test, we can move that. So the only times I'll be interested in buying or adding more in AVAX is in this area over here. And the next time will be this area over here. So I'll be patient after this. I'm not going to be buying anything. Guys, this is the difference now. If we get a 20, 30, 40% pump in the next week, wherever we bounce and we get to a level that really shoots us out, you know, I'm not going to be buying much after that. Like, I'm either buying now or I'm waiting in 2-3 weeks for confirmation buys. And what that means is I'm either buying and loading up now, or I'm waiting for a really strong push to the upward side, a retest, and then I'm only buying again. So if I'm not buying this week, then I'm only buying in the next 3 weeks again, because I'm not going to chase the pump that when this market bounces, you know, then it's gone. If I'm not going to try load up on really good levels downwards, I need to then wait for trend breaks and wait for comeback and then continuation, you know, buys again. So if I'm not buying here, I'm waiting for these patient zones over here. So, you know, AVAX is looking good for me. Now, Fantom. We spoke about Fantom, guys. Now, Fantom's getting to interesting levels now. You know, it was sitting in the region of $2.1, $2.2 a few days ago, and now it's sitting at 1.9. Now, you know, I think it can. If Bitcoin can come down a bit lower, I think, you know, Fantom can come down to 1.6. That will be a really good entry for me. And there is a possibility of 1.5. But now I think Fantom's getting to nice little levels for us. I think it can go a little bit lower than what it is now. But investment-wise, you know what Fantom can do now. You know what they're working on and how aggressive this coin can actually be and how great the fundamentals are. On this. So I think if Fantom comes anywhere at, you know, 1.6, 1.7, be super, super, super interested. What it is doing is forming this really big sort of wedge. So what it means is from here, we do get a strong bounce. You know, we could be looking at a very big accumulation zone. And you can see the massive gains that we can look at the next push. So Fantom is definitely a big one. Render. Now, Render, you know, obviously we saw the pump in that, but now I got listed on Coinbase, which is good. This is really, really good. So what I'm looking at with Render, if Render does come back to the level of 2.5 to 2.8, I'm interested. I'm interested as an investor. I'm interested short-term time frame. Otherwise, I say, if it doesn't come there and I don't buy here, you know, I'm going to only be buying in a week or two when we break out, test, and then only buy this level over here again. So if it does come to these zones, I'm interested. And otherwise, I'm waiting for the breakouts. I'm waiting for the test, and then I'm adding more. But Render, no more wasting time with this. You know, Render's a monster. And this coin's going to do really, really well. It's looking hot. Rand's super excited about it as well. The team's very excited about it as well. So I think Render is one you have to have in your portfolio. I think it's a really, really great coin. Luna, beautiful. It's come back, guys. It's sitting at $47 for Luna. Remember, it was $103 a few weeks ago. It's sitting back in these levels now. Now I got two options here. I'm looking at a $43 to a $46 Luna. I'm interested. Slowly dollar costing. I'm a lot more interested if we do come between $35 and $40. That's the next support zone that I have. And what's nice about it is look how far we are from this trend line. Now, remember something that I was showing you guys previously, that when a coin is trending, right, we sort of have a trend line. And then what happens is this coin starts to really accelerate and it starts to move from that trend. It's very likely, we know, never chase that, because we know at any point this can come back down and test that trend again. And that's where you want to buy it on the support buy. Now, this is the same thing when it comes to resistance, is look how far we are pulling away from this resistance trend. And when we pull away from this resistance trend, it shows how quickly we can actually make our way back to that. And it's showing that the bounce is going to be big when we get to the really strong interest point of that. So whenever we start to pull away from a trend, it's a good sign, especially when it comes to support buys, because the bounce is going to be big, and the bounce is going to be strong and it's going to be quick. So that's a really good one. Luna's looking great. Another one, Tezos, guys. Now, Tezos, I'm not buying right now. I'll be buying Tezos if it does come in the region of $3 to 3.3. This coin just reacts really well. Look how green it is. It's been one of the only green ones. Bitcoin's been pulling down now the last 2-3 days. Tezos is going up. So this is looking really good. Now, if it does come to these zones, I'm interested, because it can look to give me the first higher low. And then after that, I can look at the breakout. Or same thing. Like I said, I'm going to be waiting now for the next week or two to wait for it to break, to test, and to be buy. So either way, I'm either patient for this zone over here, or I'm waiting for the break and the retest of this level, and then I'm super interested. And the last one I'll be covering here for you guys again, as we spoke, NIA. NIA started breaking a little bit of trend yesterday, obviously coming a bit back down at the market now, but holding well. And what I like about this is this had such a killer downwards trend for like a week or so. Usually from this, we always get a retracement first. Even if it does at a later point, do that. We will soon see where Bitcoin goes to see if that is the option to play out. But this is good. A lot of damage was done first. So if it does come back down, I think a $9, 9.5 to a $10 is a good, dollar costing for NIA. Fundamentals fantastic. We know this coin's going to do wonderful things. And there is a scenario if Bitcoin really goes to 30K and there's a little bit of blood in the streets, $8 NIA will be a really good investment point of where we're looking at. So guys, as you can see, I'm not selling anything. I'm not selling nothing. I did put some stop losses. And if you want, if Bitcoin does now bounce 37, 38, it does, put some sort of stop losses. And the important zones and the previous lows on some of your cash. It can be 20%, it can be 10%, it can be 30%. It's all up to you. So that if blood does come in the street and the market really, really goes thing, at least some of your money is pulled out. It is then stopped out, and you can capitalize on the next ones. Otherwise, like I said, I'm waiting for this long damn downwards trend to end. Only on the next pump up. Doesn't matter if it gets here, if it gets there, or any of those zones, then I'm only interested to free up dollars. I'm not selling. I'm not a sheep. I'm not one of those that are going to give up my damn coins now. I'd rather spend less money and rather eat cheaper food and buy cheaper clothes and rather cycle to work than drive my BMW. I'd rather be doing that shit right now than selling my damn Bitcoin. No one is taking my coins. I don't care about the dollar value. I don't care about these things. My coins, and I know what they're going to be worth in the future, guys. So please do me a favor, pick up the energy. Let's get everything flowing again. This will soon end. And just remember, keep learning through all these times. Guys, I'm going to have a look. I don't know if we did hit the followers on TikTok. So I'll be giving away tomorrow. If we can have 5,000 followers on TikTok by tomorrow, I'll be giving away those NFTs. And remember, guys, on Twitter, we have Mr. Beast that is here in Cape Town, and I would love to meet this guy. I'm actually a fanboy. I'm a big fanboy. So if you go look at my Twitter feed over there, I have put one out there. I'm giving away 10 Rebel Bot NFTs valued at 3.7 ETH, 0.37 ETH each, if we can get Mr. Beast here. So please go tag him in here. Please go tag him in all the posts and drive him crazy, and let's just get him here, please, because it'll be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, guys, we're going to have lots of fun. I think we're going to go play some foosball now, and maybe we play some beer pong, or maybe we do whatever it is, because I'm not allowing this market to put me down. Banter fam, I love you all, and I'll see you all on tomorrow's show. Much love, Banter fam.